These are my students, Jamil and Matthew. Jamil is quite advanced and a champion in wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And Matt is a newcomer, wishing to learn the self-defense aspects of the jiu-jitsu art, which we practice as a martial energetic discipline. Taparia, the Brazilian version of Atemi Waza, which is striking,
side to side,
is a part of our training regimen. Of course, we do it with gloves and without gloves.
Open your legs and go side
We
to
do
side
it to make sure that our grappling, which we believe is superior to striking, at least on the ground, is sound, because it can be disrupted easily if one cannot defend oneself against someone who is trying to strike, to submit or dominate the person they are attacking. We feel that the ability to strike and the ability to defend against that strike has great value to us. It improves our jiu-jitsu, it improves our newaza, it improves our ketewaza, which translated is stand-up and ground grappling. And we try to do it in gi or in no gi. As we spoke before, we don't have any issues with pants. We train our condition our bodies, and our core is strong enough that gripping onto our legs will not provide any great advantage to stop us from our movement. In fact, it will wear the other person down. Here we see Jamil learning how to roll with an individual who does not have great skill, period. Now, that being said, he needs to learn to control his instinct to dominate. He needs to learn how to work from bad positions and to defend himself. We find that if we actually teach by touching, jiu-jitsu is learned faster. It's basically the ass-whooping rule. If you know how to take an ass-whooping, you know how to give one, even if you can't explain it. Also, the sequential instincts, or to make sequences instinctual, is gained by us being able to work with people who don't necessarily have our skill level. The idea of compassion, worth, value, and respect is gained by working with someone who is smaller, less skilled, but desiring to learn. The idea of letting that person know that this grappling technique or these grappling techniques are not in a vacuum. They must be worthy of being able to be used against someone who is trying to actually strike them. The idea of position, posture, and pressure being the first three of the 5 P's lead to a mastery of those first, and then an obvious proclamation that one must be able to have greater self-control than the ability or even the intent to control another. When there is great disparity between skill levels, size, and so forth, this is an important practice. Even though I am many, many decades older than this young man, I also outweigh him by a lot of weight. And I have a lot more skill. than he has. So he is allowed to strike, and I must defend against that strike. Eventually he will learn and realize with his skill growing. And remember this lesson and many like it, that his grappling must be accompanied with striking, and that his aggressive nature must be controlled, lest he be controlled by others. The lessons for me is simple. Control and kindness. Always seeking to teach, but having the safety of my workout partner in the foremost of my thoughts, even as I must train him and let him realize the power of the lessons that he is learning and the eventual level of skill that he will gain. In Jiu-Jitsu, I have learned that first, one will acquire skill by touch. Then, he will learn by hearing, otherwise having an explanation after he asks the question of how did you do that. He will receive, and he will hear how this was done. After repeated times, and with visual aids, he will seek to visually see how he performed. And thus reflection will set in. And the three powerful aspects of sensory input and collective learning will be joined with that feeling of hopelessness and the desire to change those situations.